institutional investor can't just open a wallet and operate out of it. That is the big reason why there's only private money really in the blockchain bubble.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Value.Tokenized with Masha and Zenia. Very intense interest right now is fixed on tokenized assets. However, there are very few institutional investors who are ready to deal with these tokenized instruments. Today, managing partner of GENTWO Digital, Lucas Ereth, will tell us how they are tackling this issue. Hi, Lucas. Thank you very much for being with us at Value.Tokenized. Can you tell us a bit about yourself and what do you do in GENTWO?
Thank you very much, first of all, for inviting me to the show. And my name is Lucas. I'm German Austrian, and I grew up in Austria actually, and spent the last 7 years in the United States, in California. Most of the time in Los Angeles, or as they call it, Silicon Beach, and spent quite some time up north in Silicon Valley. And I did various projects like iPhone apps, and I ended up with a small venture fund because I really liked the idea of connecting cool ideas that came up in the area with the capital and the other way around. And I'm tried out a lot of things, and then I had the honor to work for this very major family office with this guy who was mentoring me at the time, and learned a lot from him and how a family office operates. And then we turned that family office into a merchant bank with different business drivers, which I thought was pretty cool. And then last year in September, I moved to Switzerland, to work for GENTWO Digital. And GENTWO Digital is something that I'm really passionate about because it has to do with the blockchain, which really caught my interest once I realized what kind of technology it is and how powerful it is, and how fair it is really. And what GENTWO Digital does is basically turning any digital asset into a real security, which makes it really easy then for institutional investors to deal with them. Because as we know, not every, for instance, institutional investor, they can't just open a wallet. It starts with, okay, what username do I use? Who's holding the private key? And what happens if I lose that private key? So bringing digital assets in a traditional format is really the missing puzzle piece, I thought, to this whole thing. And that's why I'm very excited about it and very happy to be here and push this forward.
Thank you very much for this very interesting introduction. And speaking about crypto and blockchain technology, right now there is a lack of trust problem, which comes from high volatility of crypto. And what's needed to eliminate this lack of trust is adoption by institutional players. And can you tell us what is needed to achieve this and how GENTWO is actually helping to reach this goal?
Well, that's a great question. And this is pretty much exactly what we are trying to do here with GENTWO, or we are actually doing it. And the main obstacle and the main issue, I think, is the user experience. It's really in kids' shoes, that we would say in Germany. The usability of things. And like I said, an institutional investor can't just open a wallet and operate out of it for various reasons. And that is the big reason why there's only private money really in the blockchain bubble. Let's call it a bubble. It's 170 billion converted market cap today, which is really, really tiny compared to, I think it's 66 trillion of other assets that are flying around on this planet. And the big investors, they wanted to invest, but they really couldn't. And this is what we are solving. So by building the bridge, and GENTWO Digital really is the bridge from the traditional financial market to the crypto market, we are bringing, big institutional money in, and that will hopefully cure the volatility issue, because what it really needs, I think, is institutional money to underpin all those great ideas and to give, those great ventures more capital to operate.
So there is a lot of interest in tokenization and tokenized assets on the market. Everybody's super excited about it. But what we see in fact is that really few institutional investors are ready to deal with tokenized securities. So how this can be solved?
Okay, yeah, that's actually a great question. And Gen2 Digital is tackling that issue by creating real securities with an ISIN, so an ISIN number, which is the International Securities Identification Number, which is actually the de facto standard for securities trading internationally. And yeah, so we pack any crypto asset into an ISIN, and this way we make it accessible for those investors.
You're based in Switzerland at the moment, and actually you're pretty close to Crypto Valley, which is the epicenter of everything that's happening in blockchain and crypto worldwide. And can you tell us more about the sentiment that you're seeing in Switzerland and in Crypto Valley towards the crypto and the attitude from institutional investors in this region?
I mean, I think Switzerland as a country is doing a great job. I mean, they really are a blockchain nation. I mean, we even have the president that's really involved, and he's showing up to all the conferences, and he's on stage talking about it and encouraging people to use that technology. And I think the FINMA as a regulator is doing a great job also to make the framework better and better, and making entrepreneurs more comfortable and working with that technology. And in terms of investors, I think they're really looking and they're trying to participate. And this comes then again to GENTWO Digital, and they're really happy about hearing what we're doing, and basically wrapping digital assets in securities that they can deal with and invest with, because that is their secure way in. And it's basically eliminating all the headache that they would otherwise have to go through, or they couldn't even go through, because they have certain rules and regulations that they're not allowed to invest in certain things if something is not secured or whatever. And we basically take all the headache away and make it accessible for those investors. So I think Switzerland is really a great place to be, and I'm happy to be here. Also, the Crypto Valley, if you're talking about that, it's a really cool ecosystem to just be and participate in. Unlike, why Zug? First of all, I think it's, as you know, a pretty cool place to be in terms of taxes. That's how this whole thing originated, I would say. But in Delaware, for instance, in the United States, it's a similar situation. There's low taxes, and that's why all the companies go there. But there's no such thing as an ecosystem that you can go and use, unlike the Crypto Valley, which really has a lot of stuff happening. For instance, they have the Crypto Valley Labs, which is a co-working space, and there's 140 blockchain startups under one roof. That's where I work out of, for instance, and it's just cool hanging out there and like getting to know all those people. And yeah, it's a really great place to be, and I'm happy to be here right now.
Do you think that adoption by institutional players should first come from adoption by retail investors? That we should first see, tokenization platforms or traditional crowdfunding platforms evolving, and then where there is a stable interest, then institutional investors will actually come in because they see some track record, some use case already.
Yeah, I think that's how this planet works. You always need a guinea pig that also tests certain things, and and once there's a proof of concept, and once everybody is keen about it, an idea, I think then institutional money will also move. So yeah, I think that's how it works, and that's how it works in the future.
One question that is related to your experience of living in the United States and now moving to Switzerland. So we hear this opinion a lot that investors in the United States, they are more flexible, they're more open for experiments, like with crypto, with tokenized securities. But how did you see it there, and why did you move to Switzerland and decided to not work on Gen2 in the US?
Maybe a little backstory from Gen2 and the founders. Patrick Löpfe, our chairman, he built up the dairy trade platform for Fontobo, which is, a very big bank here in Switzerland, which specializes also in structured products. And it's really thanks to him and all the effort that he put in, and he's Swiss and he lives here, and this is where it started. So, I mean, I would have loved to do it in LA, but it just happened that it's here. But now that I'm here, I'm really happy to be here, and I wouldn't want it any other way.
Can you explain the concept of actively managed certificates and what does this instrument provide?
Well, an actively managed certificate, the concept of it is very similar on how you would manage a portfolio in a traditional investment fund, meaning you have an active strategy, but now using an AMC for crypto assets, for instance, it's really cool because you don't have to open a fund and go through all that headache. You can within 10 days set up an actively managed certificate with our platform, and then you can have any crypto strategy that you want, and you obtain an ISIN for it, an international securities identification number, which is very easily accessible from anywhere in the world, and then you can just invest through that. So
How are actively managed certificates work with security token offerings? Because this is a new trend, and there are some major issues that Gen2 seems to be solving quite efficiently. Can you tell us more about that?
So at Gen2 Digital, what we offer our clients, and that's another thing, we build issuers. So we are actually the enablers. So that's something that people don't understand sometimes. We are actually the man in the background, and we, with our framework that we offer to people, they can actually create an issuance vehicle, which is off balance sheet. That's another huge advantage to any comparable setup out there. And then you can build either a simple tracker on something, so a simple tracker certificate, or an AMC, which is basically a portfolio of any assets with an active strategy behind it. And comparing it to an STO, it's really a symbiosis that's now possible, because if you have an ICO STO, you can only basically onboard wallet people, like people that can operate and invest out of wallets, which are, at least right now, mostly retail investors. And if you now take your tokens, for instance, from your STO and create a tracker certificate that just tracks the value of that token, then you get an ISIN, and then again, institutional investors can just get direct exposure to that token via that certificate. So to me, it's really a symbiosis that's happening. So by having both, you're just acceptable to all the investors out there.
Can you share some more information about your favorite use cases of Gen2?
It's since we create issuers, then it's really up to the client to decide, what they use, the securitization engine for, so they can make securities out of anything. Or taking one step back, maybe at Gen2, we really can securitize anything. So that's from real estate to airplanes to forests, really anything, and also digital assets. And for instance, we had a great mining certificate that we set up, which is, I think, a great use case, because how else would you get exposure to the profits of a mining facility if you don't actually go and do it yourself? And those guys just set up a mining certificate, and then you can just buy in and enjoy the profit. Or there's another great one. It's by Lücke, which is a Swiss exchange, and they came out with a token called Lucy, which is one coin in itself, and it tracks the 25 biggest cryptocurrencies by market cap, rebalanced by the minute. And by buying that one token, you're basically invested in the 25 biggest coins. And we built a simple tracker certificate on that Lucy token. And now, if you're an institutional investor and you missed out so far, then you basically just buy that one token, and you're good pretty much. So I think that's a great use case. And last but not least, the actively managed certificates. I mean, we have a lot of really good asset managers that came up with cool crypto strategies or arbitrage trading, or they have trading bots. I mean, whatever it is that their strategy, brings, they can build an actively managed certificate on top of that, and then investors get exposure to that.
Yeah, Lucas, thank you very much for sharing. Yeah, it was great having you with us at Value.Tokenized. Thank you very much.
My pleasure. Thank you, guys.
This is Value.Tokenized. Thank you for watching. You're very welcome to leave comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube and Twitter.